free, I am unlimited. And that's a very major part of the expression of what this faith tradition is all about. But this week's question is, from whom or what do you need to be free? This is a particularly special time for New Thought people because there's no other place in the world other than this country, the freedoms that we enjoy here, that our faith could have even been birthed. You know, the ladies that founded this faith in the 1800s were people who took the Christian faith, the Protestant faith, and turned it on its head. Had they lived 500 years before in another country, they would have been killed. These people came to reform and to change the ideas and the thoughts of spirituality. And so they expressed that freedom, and they did it at great cost. And they did it because they believed that it had great purpose and great meaning. And so we are free and we are unlimited because of the country in which we find ourselves, the time in which we are living, and the circumstance in which we find our being right now. You know, freedom, when we think about it, we think about it in political terms, we think about it in global terms, we think about it in great, big, large ways. And that's wonderful, but the way that we really are able to change our lives for the good is to change our lives for the good, and to be able to change at a very basic level. There's a word that really is kind of the opposite, not the opposite of freedom, but is a word that is on the opposite side of freedom, and that's oppression. You know, when you say that word, oppression, it just is like something that is a weight, to press down upon. You know, another word that sounds very much like oppression is depression. And, of course, a depression is an indentation, but those of us who know and have experienced, and most of us, all of us have in the human condition, have been depressed at one time or another. Some of us are depressed more often than others. And one of the things we talk so much about is dealing with this depression or this sadness that people have, and creating within us the ability to be free to make the decisions that we need to make. And the big choice that we can make and decision that we can make is how we feel and how we react and respond to circumstances and situations. What's the affirmation? I am free, I am unlimited. I am free, I am unlimited. I am free, I am unlimited. So often in life we don't feel that we're free or unlimited. In traditional Christianity, Jesus came and spirituality came to teach us more clearly that we are truly free. But so many times in our own lives, we don't feel free. We feel we're restricted or constricted by finance or education or background or this or that or something else. Many, many years ago, there's a lady that isn't here anymore. She was a lady that had come to the church in late life, and she came for just a lot of reasons. Her life had changed dramatically, and she was such a wonderful, magnificent, joyful person, and her life seemed so happy. And yet, when she talked to me, she had so much unhappiness. And so on the surface, there was all this happiness and joy, and down deep, there was all this unhappiness. One of the things that she told me repeatedly in our conversations was the problems that she had with her mother. And her mother had passed away when she was 30 years old. But her mother had done a lot of things that mothers do. Her mother had interfered in her life in a lot of levels. And one of the things that her mother did was that she fell in love at a very early age, in her about 20, 21 years of age, with a fellow that she was just profoundly and deeply in love with, but the mother was having none of that. And so her mother moved through the process of ending that relationship and did a variety of things to make that happen, and then orchestrated another relationship that this lady found acceptable, but not certainly what she wanted. And she married that man, and they had a family, and she lived out her life in that way. How many, maybe not to that extent, but all of us can reflect back upon something in our memory, something in our thoughts, something that's happened that we hold on to. And in that whole process, every single time that anything happens in our lives, we have a choice. And that is how we're going to think about it, how we're going to respond to it. And what's so important in understanding the affirmation that we're sharing today, what is the affirmation? I am free, I am unlimited. Let's say that 3 times. I am free, I am unlimited. I am free, I am unlimited. I am free, I am unlimited. We are free and we are unlimited when we live in the present moment, in the now, right now. And the past and the future are out there, but where do we live? In the now. And one of the things that I told this lady from the early time that I met her was, you can change the way that you feel about your mother. And she said, why would I do that? But that issue in her life had tainted everything that she had done. The relationship with her mother, the relationship with her son. She had all kinds of conflicts. She had all kinds of oppression. She had all kinds of things operating and dynamic in her life. The question that we ask is, what do we need to be free from? And we become free when we let the things that have taken away our sense of freedom. And our sense of freedom has to do with all of the kinds of reasons that we have why we don't express the fundamental principles of our faith and of our belief. What are those? And these three little affirmations, with a simple affirmation that we've used a lot, that's a foundation of the movement. I am happy, I am healthy, I am prosperous. I am happy, I am healthy, I am prosperous. What is it that keeps us from the freedom of being happy, healthy, and prosperous? What is it that keeps us from that freedom? The foundation of this teaching is that we live in our minds and not in the world. The foundation of this teaching is that thoughts in mind create after their kind. The reality of this teaching is that we can live in the now and we can change our way of thinking anytime we want to. Jesus talked about that in very simple terms. He was telling people all the time, change your way of thinking, change your way of thinking. One of the things that wonderful young lady, I think of her as, said to me in the very end of her life, she said, Pastor Mike, I just wish I could forgive my mom. And I said, you can't. And she said, I just can't because I'm just human. Why was she just human? Because in her mind, she was just human. And when she said that to me, sitting there on the bed, I just thought, isn't it going to be wonderful when she closes her eyes to this life and opens them in the next, and she's able to understand. And you've heard me say so many times before, we're all going to understand, we're all going to deal with it, we're all going to understand freedom, and we're all going to understand happiness, health, and prosperity. We're all going to understand all of these teachings when they close the lid and we open our lives in the next life. But wouldn't it be great to know it now? And that's what the teaching is about. And the teaching is about doing it in the here and now. And so the affirmation is, I am free, I am unlimited. Right? Let's say that 3 times. I am free, I am unlimited. I am free, I am unlimited. I am free, I am unlimited. If that is true, and it is true, then you and I are free and unlimited. The only thing that keeps us from happiness, health, and prosperity is our own failure to express the freedom that we have. The good news is that these are the most wonderful days of life right now. The good news is that freedom is expressed in every heart, in every age, in every time, when people are able and willing to grasp the reality of the strength and the power that they have to change their lives and the lives of others by simply changing the way that they think. And when we do, we begin to rise, just like that rising up out of depression. We begin to rise just like that resurrecting power that we talk about in our spiritual lives and faith. The good news is that you are free and that you are unlimited. The good news is that you and I are absolutely free to let go of every limitation, of every anger, of every hurt, of every pain, of every memory, of every haunting, of everything that keeps us from being that which we are called to be. Paul said that we would come to the full stature of Christ, like that divine one, that person that was the expression of the perfect life. And in that expression, we are totally free, and we are more than human. We are spiritual with limitless potentials, and we are free in every circumstance and situation. So this week, go out and be free and be unlimited. This week, go out and let go of something that keeps you from being who and what you are and what you need to be. Go out and decide, or in the quiet and solitude of your quiet moments, allow yourself to look into your life and see what it is that you need to be free from. And for heaven's sakes, be free from it. And when you're free from it, it's free and you're free. And then life opens up in a new and wonderful and magnificent ways.